It was a crisp October morning in 2024 when my quiet life in Willow Creek, a tidy little suburb in upstate New York, got turned upside down. I'm Nathan Carter, 40, a retired Army Ranger who moved to this 200-home neighborhood for some peace and a chance to blend into the background. Willow Creek seemed perfect: neat lawns, friendly faces, and a $90 monthly HOA fee that kept everything running smoothly. But that morning, 3 guys in crisp uniforms showed up at my door, flashing badges I didn't recognize and demanding I hand over my firearms. They called it an urgent public safety mandate and waved official-looking papers with seals that screamed authority. Their radios crackled with chatter that sounded legit, but something in their eyes cold, calculating, like predators sizing up prey set off every alarm in my head. Across the street, my neighbor, old Mrs. Evelyn Harper, was already loading her late husband's hunting rifle into their van. My gut churned. This wasn't about safety. This was something else entirely. I'm no stranger to trouble, but I picked Willow Creek to escape it. Our HOA, run by Margaret Maggie Thompson, a 58-year-old stickler for rules, kept the place in line. Maggie was the kind of woman who'd send you a violation notice if your fence was half an inch too tall, but she was honest, and our property values stayed rock solid because of her. Then there was me, just trying to keep a low profile, and folks like Evelyn, a 72-year-old widow on a fixed income, or the young Parkers next door, juggling 2 kids and a mortgage. We weren't rich, just regular people trying to get by. But those guys at my door, they weren't regular. They knew too much. Me name, Maggie's 8-year tenure as HOA president, even details from our last budget meeting. That kind of intel doesn't come from a quick Google search. The leader, calling himself James Sullivan, was a slick talker, maybe 45, with a smile that didn't reach his eyes. His partner, Ryan, younger and twitchy, carried a laptop bag like it was his lifeline. They had polished polo shirts, clipboards with Willow Creek's logo, and badges that looked real enough to fool most folks. They claimed Maggie had been caught skimming HOA funds and was forced to resign in disgrace. James, they said, was the new president, elected in an emergency meeting to fix the mess. They demanded a $1,500 special assessment from every household to cover the supposed deficit. Their paperwork was flawless: fake meeting minutes, a glossy website, even a city seal that looked legit. I watched them work the street, hitting up Evelyn first. She handed over cash she couldn't afford, her hands trembling. The Parkers gave up their credit card. These were my neighbors, not millionaires, and these guys were bleeding them dry with lies about liens and safety risks. It made my blood boil. Maggie, bless her, wasn't about to let this slide. When residents started calling her about the resignation, she called an emergency meeting that night. I've never seen her so fired up. Picture a 5 feet 5 inches woman storming into the community center with a binder thick enough to stop a tank, her eyes blazing like she was ready to take on an army. The room was packed: 90 residents, angrier than a hornet's nest. James and Ryan strolled in, all confidence and politician smiles, spinning tales of fiscal responsibility. Maggie shut that down fast. "This is fraud," she roared, and the room went dead silent. James tried to smooth talk his way out, but when Ryan whispered something and James shot me a knowing look, my heart skipped. Did they just say my name? Why did it feel like they'd been watching me? The neighborhood split like a fault line. Newer residents bought James's act, dazzled by his charm and fake documents. Long-timers like me knew Maggie would sooner sell her soul than steal a dime. She was so obsessive about rules, she once made us vote on $60 for new trash cans. Embezzlement? No way. But James and Ryan weren't your average scammers. They didn't just grab cash and run. They set up shop, renting a hotel conference room for official board meetings, complete with fake bylaws and financial reports. I did some recon, tailing them to their hotel. What I saw chilled me. Ryan had laptops running scam websites for 4 other communities. This was a full-blown operation, with files on every Willow Creek resident who was broke, who had kids, who was vulnerable. They knew Evelyn's grandson's birthday was coming up. They knew the Parkers were saving for college. It was psychological warfare, and it was happening in my backyard. Maggie fought back like a general. She called every one of our 200 households, screaming, "Ignore the fake board." She printed flyers with James's face labeled "Scam Alert." That's when I met Clara and Gwen, our secret weapon. Clara, a 35-year-old accountant, tore into James's financial claims and found they didn't add up. Her spreadsheets showed every HOA dollar accounted for playgrounds, streetlights, reserves. She even dug up records of James Sullivan's real identity, Patrick Walsh, a con man with convictions in Ohio, Colorado, and Georgia. He'd stolen $500,000 from communities like ours, targeting veterans like me to exploit our distrust of authority. That hit personal. I'd fought for this country, and this guy thought he could play me? The turning point came when Ryan, eaten up by guilt over his sick mother, flipped. He showed up at my door with a USB drive, Patrick's real name, rap sheet, and planned to vanish by Friday with our money. We set a trap at his final collection meeting. Clara presented real financials, exposing the fake deficit. Evelyn, that tiny 72-year-old Spitfire, stood up and said, "You stole my grandson's birthday money, and I want it back." The room erupted. Patrick, cornered, threw $60,000 in K-Shower cash into the air like a desperate game show host. Police stormed in, armed with Ryan's evidence and a hidden camera confession. Patrick was cuffed, and Evelyn counted her return money with a smile that could have lit up the night. But the fight wasn't over. 3 weeks later, Patrick's sister, Vanessa Walsh, rolled into town. She wasn't a con man like her brother. She was a disbarred lawyer with a rap sheet for corporate election fraud. Posing as a governance expert, she claimed Patrick was framed and called a fake recall election to oust Maggie. Her campaign was slick: yard signs, glossy mailers, promises of lower fees. She exploited every neighborhood grudge, targeting Maggie's strict rules. Clara uncovered Vanessa's history of looting communities, and Ryan revealed her plan: fake ballots, rigged voter rolls, hired residents to vote multiple times. Election day was chaos. 250 residents showed up, a record. Clara caught fake ballots, addresses that didn't exist, and Ryan's recordings exposed Vanessa's fraud. Police arrested her mid-vote, and Maggie won 88-12. The community cheered like we'd won the World Series. Then came Robert Walsh, the youngest sibling, a lawyer with a vendetta. His $3.2 million class action lawsuit against the HOA, Maggie, and me claimed we'd harassed legitimate business. He recruited desperate residents, like the Parkers, promising to recover their losses. Backed by Crescent Properties, a developer eyeing our homes for a luxury project, Robert aimed to bankrupt us. Legal fees drained our $180,000 reserves. Clara found Robert's sanctions for frivolous suits, and Ryan recorded him admitting the plan: tank property values for cheap buyouts. The judge, furious, dismissed the suit, sanctioned Robert, and ordered him to pay our fees. We celebrated, but then Clara found something that stopped us cold: Maggie's signature on a Crescent contract from 6 months ago. I confronted Maggie, heart pounding. Her face crumpled, then steadied. "I was gathering intel," she said, pulling out a binder of emails and notes. She'd taken $15,000 from Crescent to study their tactics, funneling it into a secret defense fund. She'd been preparing for this war, networking with other HOA leaders, studying corporate scams. Her secrecy, though, nearly broke us. At a PAC meeting, she came clean. Some residents were furious, others admired her foresight. A 65-35 vote kept her in charge, but trust needed rebuilding. 5 years later, Willow Creek is a fortress. Property values soared 450%. Clara's fraud prevention firm saves millions nationwide. Ryan, now Clara's tech lead, speaks to kids about redemption. Evelyn, our hero, inspires children's books. I consult on community security, my military skills finding purpose. Our Victory Day festival draws 12,000, celebrating our fight. Maggie, still clutching her binders, now explains every rule. But that pin she wears, the one she fidgets with when the Walsh name comes up, I've seen that design before, and it's not from Willow Creek. What was in that pin, and why did Maggie guard it like a secret? Was she hiding one last truth, or was it the key to our safety? Who else might be watching our community, waiting for their chance? Drop your theories below, hit that like button if this fired you up, and subscribe for more stories of ordinary people beating impossible odds. What would you have done in our shoes? Comment, and let's keep this fight alive.